I really have come a long way. But I still be getting upset. There's still a fire. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, what you this, what you that, like how much money you have. I used to think I wanted $5 million in a house and that's it. I could retire, I'll be happy. Bro, I got that 5 million, was like, fuck no. I got 10, I was like, nah. I got 20, I was like, no way. Like, it's like, nah. Like, and it's not about the money, man. It's just about the grind, it's about the work.
I want to go into another chapter. I want to move, you know, as things start happening to you. Undeniable and Welcome to Forever were the next tapes to come, the next in the Young Sinatra series.
Yeah.
Where were you at this point? When Undeniable happens, what's going on with
Undeniable, I was literally in the middle of making Undeniable, and then I signed to Def Jam, which I kept a secret for like over a year because it was 2012. And this was back where, like, if you signed, like, you were a sellout. Like, it was a thing, like the XXL freshman and the this, and there was all these, like, if you're a freshman, like, you can't be signed because it's just like this whole whack-ass period in hip-hop. And
which was never true. I was there for all of the early freshman covers.
Yeah.
A lot of cats were signed. I don't
but
think
they
it
would
was ever a
pretend to
thing.
not be. Like, that's the thing for me is, like, a lot of people would pretend to not be signed because if you were, like, independent, you're the underdog, and then people would root for you. And it was just wild. Like, I remember that being a thing, me being like, yo, I signed a record deal, and people were like, you fucking sell out. And I'm like, what? Are you crazy? I just made a few $100,000 in advance, and my life has changed, and I'm about to make music. Stop being a hater. Like, that's the mentality.
But you also had the sellout skit on
Sellout Records, which is really funny. But that's the thing with criticism and people, no matter what you do, it's like I've made, literally since day one, I've said, I'm gonna make all types of records. I'm gonna make boom bap records, radio records, party records, these records, like whatever. And every album, it's like, oh, your older shit's better, or you're changing, or you're doing too much of this or that, or da-da-da. But I'm gonna be known and revered as one of the greatest and most, like, diverse artists of my generation. That's what I want, to be able to do many things, many styles, many genres, and have fun. Because it ain't that deep.
Right.
Man. It's music, and I want to have a good time.
I want to nerd out with you, man. When Everybody Dies dropped, you know, outside of just a dope beat, the rhymes was ill. Like, you was like killing it. The part that made me smile the most is when I just hear it get cut in. You're now watching the master at work.
Yeah.
You know, that famous
That's my joint.
drop,
Yeah. I love that.
you know, if you came up in the mixtape era in hip hop, you know, I remember hearing that on Wayne, on Dedication 2, on Get 'Em. You know, you're watching the master at work from the Bruce Lee documentary, but also from Set the Tone.
Yes.
Damn, was this a conscious decision to use the same drops that you were using on
100%.
mixtapes?
Like, that's one thing that I wanted to do, is because I knew you got people who, it's funny because it's a very finite amount of people that will be like, oh, I've been there since day one. I was there when Young Sinatra dropped. But it's like, yo, when Young Sinatra dropped, like, maybe 3,000 people downloaded it. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? And then, like, for years, it only had, you know, a few 100,000 downloads and shit like that. Like, it wasn't this thing. And now you got millions of fans and kids all over social media. Like, I've been there since day one, and this isn't what that once was, or blah, 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 da-da-da. But then I give them this shit. Like, that's the funny thing is, like, you know, doing a trap album, for example, and like Bobby Tarantino, and then coming to this, you know, you have people who don't necessarily like trap shit, so they're like, oh, he fell off, and then I'll drop boom bap shit, and they're like, he's back, and it's like, what do you mean? I ain't never gone nowhere. I ain't never.
You start to
been
realize the public opinion kind of changes with the weather.
But it's all bullshit, because it's like, you know, you could say whatever you want, but all I know is I just sold out Madison Square Garden.
I was there for that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
That was amazing.
Thank you, bro. But it's like, that's the realest shit. Like, haters on the internet ain't got nothing to bargain. Said I'd never make it, bitch. I just sold out the Garden. It's the realest shit. And I did it from love, from, you know, of my craft and positivity. So, but anyway, getting back into it.
And it wasn't the theater neither at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, it was
the
the
Garden.
Dog. But yeah, I did that specifically, you know, certain tags and throwbacks and the Sinatra and the vibe, and even, you know, lyrics like in The Return from Dear God. I get up when I'm down, had enough, almost drowned. And it's like, anybody who would complain about me using these, almost an homage to myself, is just like extra. Like, you're just annoying. Like, you know what I mean? I did that because there's so many people that have never heard that stuff. They don't know it. They don't understand it. So I decided to sprinkle just a few some familiar sounds in there.
What I want to go back though, because with Thank You, right? One of the things that you did on Thank You, the first track on Young Sinatra 4, is that you used voicemails from fans all over the world. Dope. We know that Bobby has fans all over the world. Logic has fans all over the world. But you've had this. Worldwide was another track. You kind of took that concept from
really
Worldwide.
Did his homework. This is
come
crazy.
on, dog. This is what we do.
You sent me, before he came here, he sent me a text message of every mixtape and then this one. And it was really cool to see them all in black and white, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, it's all good.
But thank you, man.
Nah, man. But I want to go back to Worldwide because you're still young and coming up. Like, when was it that you noticed that you really had a fan base of fans all over the world?
Like, really, really?
Yeah.
Like when I really did, it was probably when I toured for Under Pressure. You know, because I went.
But you had voicemails. But how'd you collect voicemails back then?
Yeah, but to me, it's like way back then. It's like it didn't really hit me because I had never left the country.
Right.
So, and it's, for example, here's a great example. So we used like some like business line where I could tell people to call in and leave a message back in the day for Worldwide, and like. Maybe a couple hundred people called me. So you had a bunch of people in the States, and then you had, a few hundred people, maybe a few thousand. Maybe I'm being a little hard on myself. But a few thousand, like back in the day, and then out of that, a few from different places in the world. This time, in the day when I announced it, was like call in, be on my album. It was over 100,000 voicemails like that. So it's like that shit to me was wild.
Right.
So my first real touch of that, of going somewhere else, was 2013. It was for Welcome to Forever, and it was after that was out, and I went to Europe. And I had motherfuckers who couldn't even speak English, but could rap, All I Do or any of these older songs, and it just blew my mind. Mind you, it was like 50 people in a bar, but it was great. Yeah.
But things are changing, like Welcome to Forever comes, and things are changing now. You're signed at this point.
Yep.
You're rapping about meeting Nas, like so you're starting to meet your heroes,
totally,
and stuff like that. Did you see this though? Like we're in your crib now, and I see all these plaques, and like Nas wanted to sign you. Like you were aware that there was talent. You had a future in this. Part of your future was set already. But did you see all of this at that point?
No, it's funny because like you say that shit, and even still now, it doesn't feel like that. It's weird. It's pretty cool actually to think about it, because it makes me realize like, damn, I really have come a long way, but I still be getting upset. Like I still be like, there's still a fire. Like it doesn't matter what it is, what you this, what you that, like how much money you have. I used to think I wanted $5 million in a house and that's it. I could retire, I'll be happy, bro. I got that 5 million, was like, fuck no. I got 10, I was like, nah. I got 20, I was like, no way. Like, it's like, nah. Like, and it's not about the money, man. It's just about the grind. It's about the work. And so back then, all I was trying to do was just truly have a career in rap, to be able to put albums and know I had fans and go on tour. And then I went on tour in a club and I sold out the Roxy in LA, 500 people, or Reggie's, 500 people in Chicago. And I'm like, man, this is amazing, but I need more than this shit. And then next time it was House of Blues in LA, and then it was so-and-so, and then we just did the fucking Forum, Next it'll be Hollywood Bowl and Staples, and it's like, there's just this thing, man, like you always want more, you're never satisfied. I don't know how to explain. I could talk about it forever.
I want to get back into that Nas thing for a second, though. So you meet him, you sign to No ID.
Yeah.
No ID and Nas have a relationship. He's produced for Nas before. So it feels probably familiar. But he starts like reciting lines that you wrote, right?
It was cool. He was just like, I forget what it was. It was one of my songs I had out. I forget, but it was before I even met D and No ID. It was before I met him. So it's like there was different people that wanted to sign me, and Nas was one of them. And he brought me to this this rooftop in New York City, and I'll never forget it. He was shooting for something for ESPN or something. And I met him. He was super nice, just a really nice dude, and I couldn't believe it was my idol. And he was dope as shit, and he said something, because it was something about wine. I forget what the fuck. I have a line about wine in one of these mixtapes. And I noticed that he had some wine, and he was like, "Oh, I think I said something about $100,000 wine or some shit that I actually couldn't afford at the time." And then he was like, he just had recited that back to me, and it just blew my mind that he had known that. I don't know, that it was more than just like, "Oh, you got a little bit of buzz, let me come fuck with you, like what's up?" And it was like, "Yo, I've actually taken the time to listen to your music." So that was really nice.
That was dope. And the cop, I'd have signed with Nas right away just off of that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of artists would know, but you had the fortitude to be like, really welcome to Forever. You saw your future of the thing that you could build, and you just, what was it? You didn't want the pressure, or
not necessarily the pressure, yeah, but more so the shadow. That's the biggest thing. And I mean, I was so honored, still am, that he would have even considered signing me. You know what I mean? And but I just think I made the right decision because I just didn't want to be Nas's artist.
Right.
I didn't want to be Nas's artist. I wanted to be my own artist, you know, which I think anybody could respect.
Right.
So, but yeah, but thanks, brother.
And you're definitely your own artist now. You have your own label,
yeah, Elysium. Fuck yeah.
So it worked out.
It worked out pretty good. Yeah. Damn, I forgot that I have a record label. Shit, you reminded me. I was like, oh snap.